it's just the hoaxing thing doesn't hold up.
Yeah, again, possible but not probable.
Yeah, if you're a hoaxer, practical joker, you want to see the people sit on the whoopee cushion on the park bench. You want to see the ghost that you have on a string and a sheet, and you pull it up right when somebody walks by a wooded area and scares the crap out of them. So you want to be there when your handiwork is being exhibited. Waiting for someone to randomly, what's the thrill? Well, when someone sees this, I know they're going to freak out. As an old practical joker, that just doesn't fly with me. You're just not going to do that.
Right.
You're going to be on hand, like the guy that got killed, 4 years ago up in Idaho, running across the highway at night, dressed in a ghillie suit, faking Bigfoot encounters, only to be run over by a car.
I didn't hear about that.
Yeah. If you Google it, I think it was 3 or 4 years ago, he was wearing a ghillie suit, and he was he was running, it may have been Washington State, I don't remember, but it was somewhere in the Pacific Northwest area, west-northwest. And he was running across the highway at night, freaking people out. Well, he miscalculated and got hit, got run over and killed. He was basically faking Bigfoot sightings.
Here it is. Here it is. Man apparently attempting a Bigfoot hoax killed on Montana highway.
There you go. Yeah, that's it.
Randy Lee Tenley, 40, was dressed in a ghillie outfit favored by military snipers and game hunters. What was he thinking?
Oops, that wasn't a good idea, was it?
No. And that's just it, because if you take the number of people who believe Bigfoot, Sasquatch exist versus the number of people who go out into the woods and actively hunt, there's a whole lot more people who go out into the woods and actively hunt. And you know what? If you see something that you think might be a bear or something, a lot of people are just going to take a shot. Only a fool is going to do that. And there are fools out there. There's one less. This guy in Montana is not going to do that again. But yeah.
Hold my beer. Watch this. That's the last beer that he's not going to drink,
Right.
So, but the odds of any of that, with incredibly rare exception, are just not that good. Who's going to do that? And not, you're going to dream about what might have happened if somebody happens to see it. Well, that's just no fun. So these things are real. The structures are a language. It's a way of communicating between the Sasquatch and Sasquatch, clans and clans. And it's they're speaking to one another right in front of us. We just don't know what that language is yet. We're working on it. We just don't know. And they can count us. My gifting thing, and there's so many examples in my book. The Sasquatch evidence of an Enigma. There's many examples of them counting, and they do count. They are thinking, sentient creatures that are probably smarter than we are on different levels.
Well, I must tell you that I enjoyed the book. I love the book. The best part of the book that I like were the case histories of the interviews that you had with these people. And the ones I liked the best were the people who were just your simple salt of the earth, plain old working class people who they saw something, they said, look, I got to tell somebody about this. And they kind of fell into two categories. Some of them, they started telling the townspeople in these small towns and they were scoffed at. Others said, oh yeah, we know all about this. And, and both were very interesting. But when they came and told you the stories, they weren't looking for notoriety. They weren't looking for a payout. If anything else, this made their lives more difficult. They were trying to farm land. And who was the fellow? His name escapes me, but the guy had to drive 2 miles every day to work each way. And his wife and family were alone at this place. And now he has a Sasquatch on the grounds, and he had trouble. I mean, he felt guilty because he had to work 8 hours a day and then be on the road 4 hours a day, 12 hours a day. He was gone.
Yeah. No, they had some serious discussions about we need to go our separate ways, because this was all going on while he was gone.
Right.
And her and the daughter, young daughter at the time, were there alone at night with all this banging on the house and howls and rocks being thrown, all kinds of stuff going on. And he comes home and they can't wait to tell him. He's going, "What? Come on, you got to be kidding! Come on, I just worked a 12-hour shift and drove another 4, and come on, you're just seeing things. You're mad." Well, now he's the biggest proponent of all that. He's like seen it, experienced it, and I go sit and hang out with him all the time, and we have interactions with these creatures, and it's just like a family event. And she had a hard time convincing him, but he wasn't there to experience it, you know. And they got comfortable interacting with her and her only, and it took a while for him to get up to speed. You know, number one, he didn't even believe it and didn't want to go out and even try to experience it. Then when he did, it was like, oh my God, geez. Okay, well that denial is over with. Okay, I'm with you. You know,
and they would not have made this up. Why would they put this on the old man when he comes home? They were terrified.
No, they were terrified. I mean, it got to the point where they would not stay there until he got home. When he got home, he'd call them, and they were staying at a family member's house, and then they'd drive back home. Mm-hmm. They wouldn't stay there at night for the longest time, her and the daughter.
Well, the gentleman that I interviewed who saw the Bigfoot down in southeast Missouri, I asked, we started talking about gifting, and he said that he tried that. He tried it a few times and nothing happened. Then one time he put 10 apples up in a tree, in the about 10 feet up in the crotch of a tree, and something came and took them all away. He said, so they found them, they took them, and he said it couldn't have been squirrels, because squirrels would have taken a bite of them and thrown them on the ground. These were just gone, and they were 10 feet up in the air. And when I told him, and you mentioned this in your book, I said, be careful, because if you go down there and start doing that, they're going to expect that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they're going to think, that's exactly right. I said, so if you're going to start putting stuff up in a tree or give them something to eat, every time you go down there, you better do that, or there may be hell to pay.
Well, you can also do it at your leisure. So like every 2 weeks, I'm going to leave a $3 bag of, 5-pound bag of apples. I'm going to leave it hanging from a tree on a string, and you're going to have to go out there and get it. And they'll be trained. They will come to, now they may go bang on your house because they want more apples, but you don't have to respond to that. You can just and you can tell them, I will do this every 14 suns that go by in the sky. I will put a bag of apples here for you. They will understand what you're saying.
Well, and that's why I told this fellow, because they go down to hunt this area, because they live here in St. Louis, and they go down to this area to hunt as often as they can. But like I said, he's a businessman. His sons are busy too. And they go down as often as they can. Maybe 4 or 5 times a year they go down there. So it's not like they're down there all the time. But I said, look, the last few times you went down there, you felt they were watching you, and you looked at the photos, and sure enough, you saw pictures of them hiding behind the trees. So they know when you come. So if you go, even if it's just 4 or 5 times a year, you better leave them something, because they're going to expect that.
Mm-hmm. Well, when you talk to your guy, tell him to go to a Dollar Tree and buy a couple of cheap mirrors.
Oh, really?
And hang them in a tree. Take some Windex and clean that mirror so it is pristine. And do your gifting with a couple of those mirrors there. What do you think the feelings would be when a creature who has probably never seen its reflection sees its reflection in a mirror, not a river or a creek? What do you think they're going to think when they see themselves?
I think it's black magic or something.
Yeah. But it's an astounding event. I can only imagine. I haven't experienced it. I've left mirrors, and a couple of them have been taken. But my purpose in leaving a mirror is if they look at it and they leave a fingerprint. and it's just hanging there. And you go back to leave your next bag of apples, and that mirror's there. You check it. Don't touch it, but check it. Just twirl it around with a twig and see if there's a fingerprint on that mirror. If it is, yank that baby down and call me.
Have you found a fingerprint on a mirror yet?
I have not. The place where I have left mirrors, they have found fingerprints on their motorcycle fenders and the window, but nothing on the mirrors. But I have heard of people that have had, I've had a couple of my mirrors just disappear. I left a certain number and 2 are gone. And so I know, and they were put up with picture framing wire. It wasn't like a piece of string. It was, the kind of wire you put on the back of a picture when you're going to hang it on a wall. It's pretty good wire, not the cheap stuff, but pretty good. I don't know what the gauge is, but anyway, it's not going to just fall off.
It's not going to fall off, and a chipmunk isn't going to haul it away either. No,
you can't nibble on the. They were just snapped off and gone. Mm-hmm. So that's a source of intrigue for them. Because imagine if you have never seen your face, James, and you're going to see it tomorrow.
Yeah.
I wonder what I look like. Oh my God! Yeah, I can't imagine the awe. Maybe you look at another Sasquatch. Well, I'm one of those, so I must look like that. But everybody has their own identity.
Exactly.
So it's a point of fascination, and in that I know that a couple of mine have been taken. That tells me curiosity got the best of somebody. And I don't care if I ever see the mirror again or even get a fingerprint or whatever. But I made some Sasquatch's day because that mirror is sitting in a holler somewhere or in a cave, and they're passing it around the family and, snickering and laughing. But, but there's a lot of things. So if he's prone to doing something, tell him to go down to Dollar Tree and get a couple of cheap mirrors, hang them up, clean them up.
I will tell him that.
He might, in the they might scare him away at first, but you keep gifting the food. They want the food bad enough, as long as there's not a camera nearby. But that mirror's there. All they're looking at is themselves. They may not, although they're a thinking, sentient being. That may not be in their wheelhouse of knowledge. Maybe they walk by a mirror, look in a mirror at night or a car window and could see somewhat of a reflection, but it's not the same thing as seeing your face.
Mm-hmm.
I imagine that would be something that might encourage more activity. You just have to decide if you want that or not,
Well, Carter, one of these days it's going to get warm, and one of these days the pandemic is going to be over. When that happens, and when you go on your next search, give me a call. I'd love to come.
I will take you out and scare the crap out of you in the woods. It'd be my pleasure.
Very good. I'm looking forward to it. Carter Buschardt, author, Sasquatch, Evidence and Enigma, and maybe, just maybe, another book to be coming on.
Yep.
Carter,
I haven't decided, but send me a link when you can. This was fun, James. I enjoyed it, as usual.
Outstanding. My pleasure. Thank you for your time, Carter. Have a good evening. Take care.
We'll talk to you, man. All right.
Bye-bye. Well, that's it. We're done. Thank you for tuning in. JamesStrongShow@hotmail.com. That's the email address. Send me your email address, and I will send you a link to the podcast when it's done, and you can download it and listen to it at your leisure. That's it. We're done. Until next time, this is James Strong saying adios.